Going on, guys? Owen Form coming at you guys today. As you guys know, I'm coming up with a late video right here, but we have finally found a new GM. The search is over. They have done their due diligence. His name is Brad Holmes, 41 years old. He has worked 18 years in the NFL for the St. Louis Rams and the LA Rams, which they're now called with the same organization. Signed him to a 5-year deal. Don't know the money. Don't really care about the cash. Let's get to work. But this is a guy that started in 2003 as an intern in the public relations department. Then ended up moving to the scouting department pretty fast. Then he went to his current role as college scouting director, and that entitles he scouts college football players into the NFL. You know what I mean? That's what he does. He that's his forte. That's his thing. That's what he does. He's a talent evaluator, if that's what you want to call it. And he's a damn good one too. He's a damn good one too. Now, I'm not going to sit here and tell you this guy is a home run hire or he's a terrible hire, because I don't really know. But from reading his resumes, doing some research on the guy, he sounds like he obviously knows what he's doing. Okay, he obviously knows what he's doing, and just from reading what he says, not what he says, what people say about him is that it's nothing but flying colors. He's been compared to Ozzie Newsome, a Mike Tomlin type of guy, type of character, and we all know that those guys are special. Ozzie Newsome built the Baltimore Ravens. Mike Tomlin is one hell of a football coach for the Pittsburgh Steelers. And that's a pretty good company to keep. Now, it's only a comparison, so we don't really know just yet. You know what I mean? But Brad Holmes, he actually oversaw the Rams' last 8 drafts. So he's a draft guy. 8 drafts, so it's 8 years, man, 8 seasons. And the last 4, no first-round picks. It's still produced players. 25 Pro Bowlers altogether. Bunch of starters. Late picks, starters. So he knows talent when he sees it. They're in the playoffs right now. Okay? They're in the playoffs right now. And I'm not saying it's because of Brad Holmes, but they're in the playoffs. He's part of that. He's part of that reasoning. They're playing the Green Bay Packers this weekend, and I hope they beat the Packers. Because, I hate the Packers. So, you know what I mean? So I just hope I hope the Rams beat them up. Now, he hasn't said a word to the Detroit media. Everybody out there. So anybody who's telling you he's talked, he hasn't. The only quote I've seen him make is he said something along the lines of, "I really think I can make a difference." Like I don't know if he told someone on the phone, or he was just telling a story about how the Lions offered him. I think he called his mother. He called his mother, and the Lions offered him a job, and he was weeping about it. He was excited, happy, and but we don't know the full details. We haven't heard him. They haven't booked anything. They haven't said this is when they're going to talk, because they're still in the playoffs. You know what I mean? They're still in the playoffs, the Rams. So he's not going to come do a Zoom meeting. He's not going to for the media or anything like that. Not just yet. They're going to see how far he's concentrating on what's going on over there. You know what I mean? He needs to be in LA. He needs to be with his team, and that's completely understandable. Now, Sheila Ford has called this man a leader. Take that with a grain of salt, because we all, you know what I mean? It's coming from Sheila Ford. I know how everybody feels about the Fords. You know what I mean? And I have some of that feeling too. I don't know if that means anything to me. It doesn't really mean much to me. You know what I mean? Is he a leader? We don't know. But he's our new GM, man. We got to have a little bit of positivity in this city of Detroit. You know what I mean? You go on social media, and there's a lot of people just bashing the picks. First time GM. He's only a scout. He's not just only a scout. And if you think about it, fellas, guys, girls, whoever, think about it. Every GM in the NFL come in really closely, and I'll let you know. Every GM in the NFL, they were a first-time scout too. Every single one of them, first-time scouts. Oh my, shock, right? Give this guy a chance, man. Give him a chance. The body is still warm. Stop throwing stones, bashing the hire. For what? They interviewed 12 candidates. 12. Barry Sanders, Chris Spielman, Mark Hollis, and Rod Graves. All football guys. And Rod Wood and Sheila Ford were obviously in on these interviews. Whoever else was in that interview, I don't know. I couldn't tell you. I don't know if there was anyone else. But that's who was in it. In the interview 12. People were on social media crying that we weren't hiring someone really fast. Freaking out, actually, after George Patton got hired by the Broncos. We're losing out on people. Like, it's one guy. Take it easy. Then there's people saying that we got snubbed by guys like Schneider and Colbert. Well, Schneider just didn't want an interview. He didn't want to interview with anybody. And the Seahawks extended him 5 years or something like that. Good for John Schneider. Good for him. The Lions just wanted to talk to him. They wanted to interview him. So what? And then the Kevin Colbert thing, I think, was a pure whatever. Sounded like a story from Jump. Mike Stone from 97.1 The Ticket said that he had a source that Colbert was, the ink was wet on the paper. He pretty much signed on the dotted line. That turned out to be completely false. I think the Pittsburgh Steelers denied a request to talk to him. So it's not like we got snubbed. Just because someone says no, just because you want to interview somebody, we got snubbed. And apparently Brad Holmes was our fourth choice. I don't understand how people know that. Nobody knows. I don't know. You don't know. Nobody knows. Now, are we taking a risk in signing a guy to a 5-year deal? He's 41 years old. He doesn't have GM experience, obviously, but he's worked under Les Snead, the Rams' current GM, who's done a fantastic job over there. And Les Snead, who has lots of capability of being a GM. He knows what he's doing. Literally gave this man, Brad Holmes, the reins the last 8 drafts. Told him to take over. Because he's oversaw the last 8 drafts. Taking care of business, man. Doing what he does. Evaluating talent. And he's a phenomenal talent evaluator. Like, you know what I mean? Guys like Alec Ogletree, Aaron Donald, Gurley, Goff, Tyler Higbee, John Johnson, the safety, wide receiver Josh Reynolds, running back Darrell Henderson, running back Cam Akers, and more. You know what I mean? Part of 25 Pro Bowlers, like I said. Now, a quote from Rod Wood: throughout our search for a new GM, Brad was awesome who stood out immediately. His abilities as a critical thinker, along with his extensive experience implementing technology and analytics into his approach and scouting, were among the many decisive qualities Brad displayed in our time getting to know him during the interview process. We look forward to him helping lead our organization as we take the next steps as a team. Good for you, Rod Wood. Good quote. Simple, to the point. You know what I mean? I love it. And like I said, we interviewed 12 guys. Rick Smith, Scott Pioli, Thomas Dimitroff, Louis Riddick, Jeff Ireland, Ed Dodds, Terry Fontenot, Kyle O'Brien, Lance Newmark, Rob Lohman, George Patton just got hired by the Broncos. A few of those guys were Lions inside guys too. No rush. They didn't rush. They actually interviewed guys. This wasn't and people want to do the Bob Quinn comparisons. No. And I'll go back to my other statement. Just because Bob Quinn was a scout before and Brad Holmes is a scout, it doesn't mean they're the same person. Every GM in the NFL, and I'll put money on this, was a scout at one point or another, or worked for a scout or in that department. They all do the same things. Now it's about, with a guy like Brad Holmes, now it's about stuff like, okay, can you negotiate contracts? Can you lure free agents to Detroit? Can you do all that? We already know you can evaluate talent, bro. We already know that. That's not even a question, because that's his thing. That's his forte. That's what he does. Now, let's see who he brings in. Let's see if he's got any ties to a head coach or anything like that. If he doesn't have any ties to a head coach, I don't know. I'm sure he does. He's been 18 years in the NFL. I have a feeling he probably has a couple ties to a head coach, or he wants to at least be in these interviews. They've interviewed a ton of head coaches too, a ton. So I expect a head coach to be named by the end of the weekend. Maybe. It all depends. Maybe he's got his eye on somebody in the playoffs, which he could, right? Maybe he has his eye on someone in the playoffs. But right now he's focusing on his team. He's focusing on that number one defense in the NFL, the LA Rams have, and that okay offense. Pretty good. But their defense is where it's at. And he's hanging out with his boys, man, doing his thing. And I'm sure he'll talk to the Detroit media soon. So everybody just got to calm down. I'm not saying that this was a home run hire, or this was something like out of the park. Like I'm clearly not saying that. But everyone's got to just kind of pump the brakes a little bit, man, on calling this guy garbage or a bad hire. You just don't know. You don't know, guys. Okay? So thanks for the video, guys. We got our GM, Brad Holmes. Welcome to the D, brother. Don't forget to like and subscribe. The likes are all about, it's all about the likes, comments, negative, positive. Let's go. Come at me. I'll come right back at you. Subscribe, hit the notification bell, like all my videos. Let's go, Lions. Let's get that head coach. Let's go. Boom.